Do you remember what you were doing when you were 15 years old? Did you even know what you were going to become at 15 years old? At 15 years old, I was getting ready to take my GCSEs. For those of you who are slightly older than me, that would be your O-levels. And I remember doing GCSE golf. It was actually a subject. I was off a 5 handicap and I managed to get through it, not knowing that I was going to become a PGA professional golfer. Well, this young lady who we're going to be seeing today has turned professional. She's 15 years old. Her name is Chiara Noja, and we are going to do a little what's in the bag with her for this week. Let's go over to the clubhouse and meet up with her. Chiara, thank you, number one. Thank you very much for coming on to our channel.
Thank you for having me.
I watched you play Pete Finch.
Okay.
And I watched you give him a good beating.
Okay. I don't know if you'll agree with that one, but okay.
So, obviously when you play with Pete, you were still amateur, +5 handicap, +4, +5.
Yes, I think so.
And now, 15 years old, and you're a professional.
Yes.
How does it feel, being a professional?
Very awesome, you know, because it's something you sort of, I looked up to pros all my life, you know, I've always wanted to be a pro. For it to happen so early on in my career is, you know, fortunate, you know, I'm very excited for that, and it happened earlier than I expected, especially when I was younger, but it's a really exciting step to take, especially with these incredible events that I've been able to play. So I'm really excited. So you're based in Dubai? Yeah. But actually you've grown up in the UK? Yeah, so I was born in Germany, raised in England, and then now I've lived in Dubai just over a year, and it's been a whirlwind journey and I've loved it ever since. But you've represented England, you've played for England in the ladies and girls teams and things like that over the last few years, I suppose. Yeah. What do you think is the biggest difference between playing the amateur game and now what you've seen so far in the professional ranks? I mean, one, the courses are definitely tougher. You know, that's something a lot of people forget. They just think, oh, you know, I'm pro now, I'll just play the same stuff. But the courses are tougher, you know, more strategic. The fields are very strong, so, you know, you need to play better golf to finish higher up in the rankings. But, you know, the players are super nice and it's an incredible environment, especially like all the luxuries you're surrounded with, you know, players lounge, you know, all the sponsors and, you know, the supporters around you. So it is an incredible opportunity. Pressure is, of course, like an aspect of it that you sort of need to deal with. For me, that's not been an issue so far, I think, just because I had a full year of preparation and adapting to the pro leagues. So, but yeah, that's definitely something people have and will struggle with. And how have the other pros been? Super nice. Have they? Yeah, super nice. I've not really played with anyone that's been not friendly, not open. You know, I've talked to some of the great players and, you know, asked them for advice. I spoke to Lydia Kerr last week, which was a very memorable moment in my life. But yeah, you know, everyone's been incredible, and the supporters and, you know, the LET itself has been great, so I'm loving it. Do you think your practice routines have changed or developed? Have you watched what other players have done and maybe adapted to that? Yeah, I mean, whenever you're playing, whenever you're practicing, you're always sort of having a look, seeing if there's anything you sort of want to pick up on. You know, I've spent the whole year sort of playing on pro leagues, so I'm just trying to stick with what I know best. You know, I'm not trying to change in that sense for someone else. But practice, very detailed, very focused, you know, lots of time put in, effort put in as normal, but it's definitely something that's going to be changing over the next few years and something I'm looking forward to changing. And goals, what are your kind of, let's say your short-term goals, what are you looking to try to do over the next sort of year or so in the game? I mean, the Q school, you know, I'm 15, so I'm a little young to be going to the Q school, but just taking every tournament that comes my way and making the most out of every opportunity, you know, it is just such a blessing. Like, even being here, just this next tournament, being able to tee it up with these incredible players and such a strong field is just incredible. So I'm looking forward to just building my game, you know, bettering myself as a professional, and then hopefully over the next few years making it onto the LPGA. Now, you've been supported by Titleist for, well, a number of years, as in through the amateur ranks. I know they're very much involved with England golf, and you continuing that relationship moving forward. Yeah, I mean, I think ever since I was like 6, I've had Titleist golf clubs, which, yeah, I remember when I was younger, you know, I was too weak to have the Vokey wedges, so we had to port them, and I had these massive holes in them, but I was so insistent on my dad letting me have Vokeys, I was like, I don't care.
Well, on that note, shall we have a little look in this golf bag?
Yes.
Let's
definitely.
have a little look at what you are going to be playing with.
Yeah.
So we start off with the wedges. So what have
Yeah.
you got in the wedge front?
So I have the SM8s, I
Yeah.
have a 58, 54 and 50. I've sort of gone with that setup for, I think, the majority of my golfing career.
Yeah.
You know, it's standard lofts, you know, I love playing with them. 58 I use around the greens a lot, so this is sort of my go-to wedge.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're just great. They're very forgiving, and it's great getting spin out of them.
And what I've noticed is certainly 58,
Yeah.
54 and the 50 are quite high bounced wedges.
Yeah.
Is that something you were fitted for? Is it something you're just used to?
It's something I was fitted for because I used to have very low bounce, and I didn't necessarily like that off the soft ground I grew up in, you know, playing in England, playing in Europe, you know, it's usually quite rainy, or being in Dubai and it's humid, you know, the grass is usually quite soft, so having that higher bounce, I think it just makes it easier to get a clean strike.
Yeah.
I mean, if the bunkers are soft, it's very easy. Of course, if the bunkers are harder, you're going to need to be coming in steeper, but I think they've been a great addition to the golf bag, and it's been a good decision, I think.
And then shaft, so what shaft and grips have we got in the wedges?
I have the Modus 3s
Yeah.
in 105 grams. These have been a relatively new addition, they're in stiff. So I think these just help me produce some nice loft, and you know, they feel great, especially when you're hitting them. But yeah, you know, these have been in for maybe 2 months now, 3 months, and I think they've helped me improve my game, definitely. I've loved them.
Grips on those? What grips are you going for?
I actually don't know what these
So they're
are called.
golf prides? What we got?
Yes, golf prides. I don't think they do them anymore.
VDRs.
VDRs. I don't think they produce these anymore. It was a whole journey trying to get them because I played them last year.
Yeah.
And I love how I have different systems for how I play my pitch shots and wedges, so I choke down on them a lot. So I think these really help me sort of memorize that, and just
That's really good. I mean, I've never seen those grips before,
yeah,
to be fair,
I think
and
they're
actually,
great. Yeah.
For anybody looking at working on their wedge game, it's
Yeah,
not a bad little.
definitely. I have them in all my irons, and I think they're great for humidity. That's something I had to balance out, you know, making sure that they work in the rain and work in the humidity, and I think these have done a great job in them. So I went the extra mile of trying to get them back in, because these are my 3rd set of them, I think, and they aren't produced anymore.
Right, so you go.
So
stock up.
I'm scavenging.
Moving us into the irons then.
Yeah.
So where do we go then in the irons?
So
front?
I have the Titleist CBs,
Yep.
standard lofts, same shafts. I am very consistent in that sense, you know, they're still stiff.
Yeah.
And I go up to 4-iron, and then I go into the U500. But it is a 4-iron, but it's bent down to 3-iron.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's 4-iron length.
Yeah, 4-iron length.
But
It has a graphite shaft in it, so this is the series that I follow through with my hybrids, fairways, and this used to be in my driver as well. But yeah, I think just swing speed wise, this is a little lighter. It makes it a little bit more playable for me as a player, so when I'm out there it's very simple to hit. I love going for this, especially here when it's a little windy.
Yeah.
This is perfect. But yeah, I've had the CBs for a while now, and I've loved them. You know, I think they're a perfect size for me as a player. They're not too small, not too big. They're forgiving and nice launch, and you know, they feel great. So I've played with these for a while, and especially when I was younger, I used to dream of playing irons like this. So it's really cool that I get to now.
So tell me about the ferrules as well, because they are not standard issue ferrules, are they?
No, they're not. So you might have guessed, red is my favorite color.
Red is your favorite color, yeah.
Yes. So that's sort of why I wanted this golf bag as well, because this is the version that has the red.
That's the previous version, yeah.
Yep, this is the version that has the red. I'm obsessed with red. So when I got my clubs done, I was like, please give me the red ones. I was thinking about going completely red, but I was like, you know what, let's just take it back a little bit. But yeah, I think they look really cool.
They look lovely, yeah. Okay, move us into then the fairway. So you've got it's a
TSI 2.
Yeah.
So I have the TSI 2 16.5.
Okay, yeah.
They have been, this one's 1 degree of added loft, so 0.75.
Okay.
So this plays like 17.25. Okay. It is sort of like a 4.5.
Yeah, it's like a 5, shaking a 5 wood in some ways,
you know,
isn't it?
I think this is great because for me, control is everything. You know, I'm trying to be as precise as possible, and I love that I can control the spin very well on this. You know, if I'm going into like a par 5 and 2, if I'm laying up, it's very predictable.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was thinking about, am I going to get a 3-wood, you know, but I just thought that the 3-wood and the driver were a little too close together for me. So this, especially if I'm trying to like game a like secure shot, especially like over some water on a tight fairway, this is very nice.
And how far do you hit that one?
Yeah, so this goes about 225 yards.
Yeah.
You know, I try and make everything very playable, very precise.
Yeah.
And I love taking this. It's very easy to hit, especially off of the grass, you know, not off the tee. And
yeah.
I've played with it for a while now. Same shaft.
Yeah.
Same shaft.
So these shafts, again, not standard issue shafts, are they?
Nope. So a big thank you to Accra. They have made and supported me for a while now. So I've played with these shafts for a long time, you know, different models of it, but this series has been in the bag for a long time. I used to have this in driver, you know, but I've recently switched to something that's coming up in a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a 7-wood at home and hybrids as well. I've decided not to put them into play this week just because it's very windy, you know. So the 4-iron, 3-iron I think is very nice, especially if I'm trying to game something and layups and, you know, going for greens. This is a little better just in these conditions, but the 7-wood's been perfect.
And will it travel with you though? Will you bring other clubs with you?
So they're in the hotel room
right now.
So I have 2 other hybrids.
Yeah.
So 4 hybrid, no sorry, 3 hybrid and 5 hybrid.
Yeah.
And then I have my 7-wood. 7-wood's really awesome. That's I used to have 9-woods as well back in when I was very young. So I think those are really cool. But yeah, I'm really happy with what I've sort of got. And
so you set the bag up as you're going around the golf course.
Yeah.
Kind of you'll
so
take them all out and play around.
I have different putters as well.
Do you?
Because I'm very not superstitious, but I like the memories of stuff. So different sets I've had over the years, I like to keep them if I can. So all like the putters I've had over the last like 4 years, I still have them. I don't like switching, you know, very often, but you know, I do still have them for keepsakes. So the office is full of golf clubs. Yeah.
Right, driver then.
Yeah, so I have the TSI 2.
Okay.
I've sort of recently switched to this, maybe 2-3 months ago. I used to be the TSI 3, and then I was sort of playing around with something with a little bit more loft, a little bit more launch, maybe a little bit more control for me, just because I hit it quite far naturally. So control is everything for me, because if I can maximize distance whilst hitting the fairway, that's a massive advantage. So I've got the TSI 2, and it's at 10 degrees, but it's been added loft like 0.75, so 10.75. This is a really cool shaft. This is like a extra stiff.
Yeah.
And I've had this for about the same time as the driver head, and I think these two go so well together. It's like 2,500 spin, and you know, it puts me at 255 carry yards. And I think that's just the perfect place for me to putting it, you know. Anything over that I feel like is very hard to game, especially because most golf courses aren't set up for it, especially in like the women's game. Yeah. So this has been a massive advantage, you know. My driver is a massive part of my game. I think I'm pretty accurate off the tee compared to some players, and it is a massive advantage.
And that's a 58 gram shaft, so it's a nice lightweight shaft, and as you quite said, it complements it.
It helps you maximize everything that I have whilst not going too aggressive, you know, because I can swing it maybe 110, but I think out on the golf course I like to be at 103, 104. Yeah. It's very controlled. That's like my motto for my entire golf bag.
So important, isn't it?
Yeah.
So important, especially when you need to start hitting fairways and keep the ball in play.
It's just under pressure as well, you know. If the launch starts getting too low or the spin's too low, and I feel like I don't have a gameplay shot, and I don't have something to rely on, that makes it very difficult. But with this, I feel very confident off the tee, and it makes me feel secure. So I feel like I can also, if I want to, I can go at this a little bit more, and it will put me in the fairway, which is nice.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Putter then.
Oh, putter.
The
I think
putter.
My putting journey's been a whole thing, you know. Back in the UK, I never really practiced my short game that much. It wasn't really until I moved to Dubai that I had these incredible facilities.
I was going to say, is that more facility?
Yeah, more facility, weather, you know, as well. So I really started getting into putting in that sense. So I realized sort of this is something that I need to work on if I want to compete with the best. So at the moment I have the 1.5 Fastback Special Edition. I love this putter. You know, before this I had the regular square back. Yeah. But I was looking for something, you know, because alignment and feeling comfortable over the ball is a massive part of putting. And, you know, I love that this is a little bit more extended. It is a little toe hang, I think, so...
yeah, on the neck
exactly, so it makes it a little bit easier for me to be, you know, squaring that face up for me. It suits my pattern a little bit better, and I just love how you set up with this. You know, it's very long, it's very elongated, and it's great for aiming, I think. This grip, I've sort of used P2 grips for a while now. Red's, again, my favorite color. But yeah, these are great. This is a little bit wider, a little bit heavier, and we made sure that it matches the head, and you know, it works well. But yeah, it's like a triangular sort of shape.
Yeah. I was gonna say, it's
so my padding grip, I try and get the hands pretty, you know, neutral at that setup. This is a 34-inch paddle, so it's pretty much standard in that sense.
And
but
weights in it, all standard?
All standard, you know, because that's sort of what I've always felt comfortable with. I grew up putting with the Scotty Cameron line, so this is just what I've sort of grown accustomed to. But
the loft has changed slightly?
De-lofted a little bit, just because so to about 2.5 degrees, 2 degrees.
Okay.
Just because when I putt, you know, I try and keep everything around the same as setup, so I maintain the sort of same loft. So if I went a little bit up, you'd be seeing a bit of skidding, and we don't want that.
No.
But yeah, this putter has been a great help. I think my putting's been really good over the last few months, and there's been a significant change just in performance, and it's been really helpful.
Last but not least, golf ball.
Golf ball. Okay, so I've got a bit of a funny story about that one. So I use the Titleist 3 Pro V1X.
Yeah.
I've used Pro V1X for about 1.5 years now, you know, before I was Pro V1. But just lately I've been trying to get more spin, more control, and I think that's done a great job at that. I do use the Titleist 3, which is a bit controversial. Most people like to go for like the 1 or like the 2 maybe.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like in my head, shoot a 3 on any hole and you're happy. You know, it's a weird concept.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, most people think about it as 3-putt. They don't want a 3-putt, so they'll take the 3 out of it, but you don't 3-putt.
But I used to play with the 1, and in my head it just didn't sit right, so I was like, I can't make a 1 on every hole. Like, that's just unrealistic. I need to hit it like 470 for all the par 5s. But yeah, this has been, I think, for the whole season, I think this has sort of been my golf ball, and I line it up pretty easy. Just a simple back line makes it very simple, and this is what I feel comfortable with. You know, when I go out there, I want to be having control. I like to make it very simple in the sense that I can rely on my setup, on my processes, so this is what I feel great about.
Well, I have to say that is one of the best what's in the bags I've ever filmed.
Oh, thank you.
We wish you all the best this week. It's been absolutely fantastic to catch up with you.
Yeah, great, thank you.
We wish you all the best for the future.
Thank you for having me.
Hopefully we will get a game in at some point.
Yes, awesome.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Well, I found that what's in the bag very impressive, actually. For someone of Chiara's age, to know what kind of goes on in a golf bag, to have a good understanding of her clubs, is quite big, actually. I mean, there's lots of tour players out there that don't really want to know. They don't want to get involved with what goes on in their golf bag. They want to kind of rely on the fitter to put them in the right tools to get the job done. I think Chiara's journey is going to be quite long, and I think that she's certainly someone that we need to be watching for the future. So make sure you go over and check out Chiara. Make sure you go over to her social, follow her, put a comment in this video, give this video a like, and we'll see you all again very soon.